being here. My name is Amanda. I'm the concerts executive at Messiah College, and along with the concert committee, we chose you guys to come, and we're super excited to have you here.
We feel chosen.
Yes, actually chosen. Yes. So the first question is, what would your musical style be like if you were individual performers?
Well, we were at once individual performers, so I think we could probably answer it.
Well, that's not good because I was 18. So my individual style, my music, if I was a solo artist at 18, is much different than it would be now.
Yeah, I think it would probably be.
No, it would
you
be
just
so
have
different.
different influences, but I think the style.
I had one influence at 18. Getting girls. That was solitary. It's changed now.
I mean, musical influence.
Oh, musical influences. If we were solo artists, I think we'd be making really similar music. I think there's some diversity in Johnnyswim as a band musically, and I think sometimes I'm on one end of the spectrum and maybe Amanda's on the other. So I guess if we were solo artists, maybe I would be a little more blues, like soul heavy,
Right.
and Amanda would probably be more like.
What would I be?
She'd just be whatever perfect sounds like. She would be that.
Okay. So imperfect.
I like that answer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see it a little bit. Okay. Second question. How does being with each other affect the way you respond to hardship and then turn that into music? Referring to like the album Diamonds.
So being together, especially going through hardship, is awesome because you have somebody that you can always rely on, that you trust, and luckily, no, I guess not really luckily, but we've had a lot of similar tragedies in our life, or our lives around similar times since we've been together, and so there's always been a camaraderie that I think has helped our marriage and helped our music. I think you learn a lot about conversation and communicating, and especially during hardship, because I think when you're under pressure, a lot of the worst parts of you come out. And so if the worst parts of you can come out and you still feel loved and you still feel heard and the other person's not offended, then you're doing pretty good. And it helps you, helps the same thing in music. You know, it's easy to be offended when you're writing a song with somebody else because you're putting yourself out there, and you know it's vulnerable. And so if you can put yourself out there and be vulnerable with somebody that's loves you, then it's a lot easier to dare to suck, as we say.
I think also in when you go through hardships together, you have the freedom to not have all the answers. Like there's a freedom to not. I don't have to fix her pain. She doesn't have to fix my pain, especially because some of the greatest tragedies that we've experienced in our lives have come. As individuals have come very close together in time, as you said. And so there's this knowledge of I don't need a lot of answers right now. I just need maybe some space and to know that you're with me and that you love me. And I think where music comes into that is where the conversation ends, where words just back and forth in a dialogue don't do anything in your heart anymore for a minute. A song does. Like there's a moment in writing songs together where we put words to grief that we never spoke in conversation, but that we get to sing.
Your answers are always so much better.
Okay, so next question. Is the song Annie based on a true story? What made/compelled you to write this song?
Oh, Annie. So, Annie was compelled to be written because literally, we weren't in an argument. We weren't married yet, we were just dating. But she left my apartment one day, and we had this like white shag rug, and her footprint was still in it. What?
You're lying.
Am I lying?
Yeah.
What's the truth?
The truth is that it wasn't my footprint. It was his roommate at the time left the room.
Oh, yeah.
Good old Will Hill left the room, and he saw his footprint in the carpet, and saying that first line, and then carpet still holds the shape of your feet from the last time I saw you, and then he kind of kept singing it, and I think he just kind of threw in Annie. He was like singing through. He's like, oh, I came up with this little thing. Carpet still holds shape of your feet. Last time I saw you, walked away from me. Oh, Annie. And he just kind of sang it. It wasn't like anybody's name in particular. And then it took us like probably 6 years to write. We kept kind of writing these like verses and these like additions to that one line. And we're like, where do we really go from here? And it took about 6 years. We just kind of kept tweaking it. And then we started writing with a guy in Los Angeles called Britton Newbill. And we like to call him our finisher, because any song that we start that we just kind of can't figure out how to end it or how to like put a bow on it, we just bring it to him and he kind of goes, oh, well, what about this? Yes, that's it. That's exactly what we need. And it's nice to have like a third opinion, you know? And he just, dare I say, went through some just difficult breakups, which were really sad but great for us because we wrote a lot of songs.
We wrote a lot of breakup songs.
Yeah. And so he was kind of going through a breakup at the time, and it just kind of wrapped up the way it did. But it all started because Abner was missing his roommate.
I wasn't missing anybody. I just thought it was a cool visual.
Sure.
And segueing from that question, what song do you feel has been most influential to your audience?
Ooh, Annie, I think what song has been the most influential?
I think
to our
Diamonds.
audience? Diamonds.
I feel like Diamonds is the one I hear most of the time. Somebody saying that it helped them go through a hard time, or that it meant something to them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the move.
Yeah.
I think Diamonds has been the most.
Yeah.
That or Heartbeats.
I think Diamonds.
That first jam. Diamonds. Final answer.
Correct answer.
Yes.
Okay. So how does being married affect the way that you work as professionals in the music industry?
So, how does being married? I love this question. We, Amanda and I are both babies of the family. We both, what that means is that we both are used to like rolling with the punches. Somebody else is usually in charge. There's an older sibling telling you where to go, make sure you don't cross the street too soon, all that stuff. So a lot of people say it's got to be really hard being married and working together. For us, it's not. Like for us, it's harder being apart than it is being together. And I don't mean that in just some sappy way. Like, we just are better together. Yeah. I feel like we get things done better. We accomplish more. We write more songs together than apart. And for us, it's the healthiest move. I think, there's only so many always right answers, right? There's only so many things that you can just plug into every relationship and be right. But there's a few of them. There's a lot of them that aren't accurate. Like, don't spend so much time together, maybe don't work together. And some people probably shouldn't work together. But for us, it's like, it's been key. We're on an adventure every day. They say one of the healthiest things for relationships is adventure. Right. And every day for us is an adventure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of like typical arguments that our friends have, like our other married people friends that they'll argue about, and we're like, I don't know what they're talking about.
I can't relate. Sorry.
We have our arguments, but they're generally fairly different. And I think we because we're together all the time, we really have to learn we had to learn way back in the day how to communicate well with one another. So I would say our band members circa like 2010 probably got to see most of the iron sharpening iron, and now we're pretty smooth.
2009, right after we got married, we went on the road. It was just a trio, similar to the show we're doing tonight. Just us two and a friend playing electric. And there's a buddy of ours named Will Solomon, who's a brilliant songwriter in Lexington, Kentucky. He, one time, man and I, was this before we were married?
I don't know
when this happened.
The phone call?
No.
Oh.
So I think it was before we were married. So we're arguing about something. We're getting ready for a show, and we're arguing. We're going back and forth, and it's not like yelling at each other, like whatever, but it's like cutting. Like we're, being smart, very sharp-tongued with each other. And our buddy Will's sitting right there. So,
and that's what we used to do. That was like with the arguments, when you're together all the time and you just get on each other's nerves and stuff.
It's like super sarcastic.
Yeah, and so you
like,
one
really?
person,
That's how you think about that? Wow.
And then it just
not
keeps
surprised.
going, and you get like, that's what we've.
So there's a pause in the middle of our argument, and Will Solomon says, "Guys, if y'all can make this less awkward for me,
if you just make this a little less awkward for me, that'd be great."
That'd be great. Not that we got it all figured out.
No.
But we're on a much better
still
course.
Super annoying a lot.
No, she really screws up a lot, so it's tough.
Yeah, still
Bummer.
It's tough to keep my level of perfection.
But you keep it. That's the important
So
part.
funny.
Okay, and relating back to Annie, what is your creative process in your storytelling songs?
A lot of times we don't give ourselves like a ton of boundaries. We do work a lot with imagery, like the image of the foot. That was like really powerful to us. And a lot of times we'll start with like a picture or like a clip from a movie. Like if this movie had no sound at this point, like what song would we want to write for this, and like what would tell the story? A photograph a lot of times for us as well. And then beyond that, it's usually I'm in the kitchen cooking dinner in my sweatpants, and he's got a guitar and he's sitting in the corner just playing something, and we're coming up with stories together.
That's so cool.
That's basically it. There's a lot of carbs, lots of pasta. That's the key.
Carb.
Yeah. Just need a lot of carbs.
And I was on YouTube and I watched.
Sorry, I don't know. What did you watch?
I
I'm
watched-
embarrassed.
A lot of stuff, but one of the things I watched was the New Music Mondays thing, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yay!
And I just I was curious how you guys started that and what the response has been.
We so early on we started a duo, and people thought we were crazy. We started to duel, 10 paces.
On stage.
We started a duo, and nobody else was doing duos, and we had a lot of advice to cut and run, like, don't be a duo, this is dumb, nobody wants to see Sonny and Cher, yada yada. But we were committed to it, and it was right at the time when the music industry was making a big change, everything's becoming different, and we realized early on that if we can create content, there's ways to get content to people. And so one of the first ideas we had was, what if every time we wrote a new song, or we learned a new cover song, what if we just put it on YouTube, and that way we'd grow a little bit of a fan base, and whatever fans we do have can connect to it. And we haven't stayed super consistent with it lately, but it's been really effective for us, of being able to get new songs out. Even people will be at shows shouting out songs that have only ever existed on New Music Monday. Songs that we've only ever sang once, and that was on New Music Monday. Like, Villains is a song of ours that we did on New Music Monday that I can't, and she can't remember any of the lyrics to, so we have never played it again. We're actually recording it in a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in a week.
We're about to have to learn it for real, and then everybody can request. But it's also nice because you get a feel for, whether people actually like it or not. Because a lot of times when you write a song and you're like, yeah, I like that, and then you walk away from it, you're like, I don't know, maybe I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then you hear it again, you're like, no, I think I like it. And it's just nice to have other people be able to hear it in the beginning stages and kind of let you know whether you're on the right track or not. And there's some songs on there that we literally just have here's a bit of a verse that we wrote. We don't know where it's going to go, So it's kind of nice to have, a bit of feedback early on to let you know if you're on the right track.
No, really, thank you guys so much for
Yay,
being here.
my
We
pleasure.
are so excited for tonight.
Yay.
And the committee is extremely excited.
Yay.
Thank you, committee.
Us.
Thank you,
Yes.
committee. I know you're watching. Your eyes are everywhere.
Thank you guys for having us. We're super excited.
Yeah.